चला रहा है वही खुदा है, दिखाई भी जो न दे नजर भी जो आ रहा है वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है। तलाश उसको न कर बुतों में, वो है बदलती हुई रुतों में, जो दिन को रात और रात को दिन बना रहा है वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है।
Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. We begin by praising Azza the Exalted. We send peace and salutation and blessings upon the beloved Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon the Ahlul Bayt, upon the blessed founder of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, khususan upon Sayyidina Hassan and Imam Hussain ajma'in, and upon all the companions, upon all the Sahaba, and upon all the awliya and Salihin, especially the masters of Tariqat Muhammadiyah, Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh rahimahullah and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani rahimahullah, and upon our beloved teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, upon their household, their family, as well as upon all our spiritual brothers and sisters. May Allah elevate their status and rank and provisions. Really, what we're going to be learning, hopefully today, those people, the people who've been to Iraq, they already know how to perform this anyhow. Inshallah, this will be a reminder. And those of you who are familiar with the Ascension, especially the Latifah cleansing, is also be very similar as well. There's just a few elements that you just need to bear in mind, which is slightly different. Can you put your hand up for those people who've never done Ascension before? Okay, come on. Okay, Brother Majid. Abdullah, you've done it. You were in Iraq, inshallah. You should be aware. So inshallah, there's hopefully just one person. What I will do is that, so that then, because of the time, I don't really need to go into detail with the Latifah cleansing, how that happens. I'll just quickly go through it. And then you can sit with somebody privately, with Brother Gulfam or somebody, and they'll hopefully go through more detail. Are you here for the full 3 days? Or? So inshallah, then we'll have time, we can go through in detail how to actually do the Latifah cleansing. And hopefully then how the other Muraqabas as well. So, these are the days and nights of 9th and 10th of Muharram. This is the occasion in which fundamentally what we all commemorate and remember is the sacrifice and the martyrdom of Sayyidina Imam Hussain and what it meant for me and you and what it stood for. So we're all trying to remember, in our own ways, we're all trying to actually visualize and relive and imagine how it could have been like. But what our Mashayikhs have done is that they're saying is that instead of you using your own thoughts and khayalats, why not actually make you meet the personalities that we talk about, relive that experience in detail, feel the emotions, have more insight, have more detail, but more importantly is to be able to personally meet and say thank you, and also forgiveness for the fact that of our shortcomings, and also how one can actually take nasiha from these blessed personalities such as Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. There are other martyrs, Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas radiallahu anhu, who was the stepbrother of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. There was Hazrat Sayyidina Hur bin Yazid rahimahullah, Hazrat Muslim bin Aqil radiallahu anhum ajma'in, and the full family of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. So it's not just one personality, really the whole family. There are other individuals, other great personalities that we should all remember what they did for the Muslim Ummah, especially for me and you, and the role that they played in terms of conveying their message and making sure that the true message actually reaches me and you to this day. So whichever personality that Allah SWT wills for us to meet, you can imagine even Imam Zainul Abidin Ali bin Hussain radiallahu anhu, who was actually ill. He was the only living male who was actually ill, and because of that illness he was not able to partake. But it was wisdom that, because if they did qatl and if they had done shaheed of every single male, there would do no progeny to actually succeed in terms of the Saadat. So by the grace and mercy of Allah's wisdom, he was still alive so that the Saadat could continue through his lineage, through his blood. So he was there. Imagine the emotion he must have felt, that seeing his brothers, seeing his father, his uncles, his cousins being slaughtered, and he couldn't do anything about it despite the fact he was ill. What regret and what remorse must he feel? How would he feel? So there's just one, it's numbers of personalities you can actually think about Karbala and what happened. But here specifically we're going to talk about how to meet Sayyidina Imam Hussain spiritually through the methodology and teachings that has been given down by Mashaykh, through the blessed teaching of our Master Sayyidina Ahmad Tabbagh, through their teaching. First and foremost, you may be thinking this is laborious and this is painstakingly laborious for you, but for me and you, this should be the most important thing. Those of you who are not familiar, those of you who are not aware, the importance of teacher and the guide. Now, in any journey, you need a guide, you need a teacher, let alone when you actually, for example, those who are not familiar to, those brothers who are doing the cycle run, for example, raising water for charity. They're going to do the cycle from all the way from Bolton to, let's say, London, and so on. So if they're going from Bolton to London, now you know the route by road, but you may not know the route by cycle. It's a different route maybe. Allah Ta'ala knows best. Now somebody has to plan that route, and then the cyclist has to go do maybe a dummy run to know how that route is, or follow somebody. Otherwise they may be going all the way to Scotland for some reason, or maybe all the way to Wales, and they're not going to London. So in any journey that you have, if it's a journey that you're taking, if it's a course that you're taking, you need a teacher. Fundamentally, in the spiritual aspect, it's even more important that you need a spiritual guide to accept him and to accept and to know the significance and importance to have a spiritual guide. This must be embedded into you. This is the difference here. You know, some people will do it and say, you make it, your ways is all about teacher. You're not empowering anybody, you're not making them independent. No, we're just telling you the importance of adab and etiquettes. Until you're familiar with the spiritual world, you can get lost in this world, small world. You can, if I place you in a jungle, you'll be lost. Let's place you into Nelson, you'll definitely be lost. Okay, you never get out of Nelson. It's like a mini world. So if you place you in Nelson, you'll never be lost. You'll end up in Briarfield, and that's it, you've had it then. So in terms of, even in this world you'll be lost without a guide. What to say that the spiritual world, which is unbelievably vast. So hence why there are such intricacies which in the spiritual world, hence why you need a guide to come under their guidance, to come under their protection, that they will then be able to traverse you, take you to the safe journeys, safe places, and not go through any other ways and obstacles which you will get trapped in. So you need a guide. So it's not about beating the people on the stick, teacher, teacher, teacher. It's about adab and respect, but knowing that you don't know the spiritual world. Knowing that I don't know. And that is reality. I don't know, because I don't even know this world, what to say about the spiritual world. In this world, for example, if you've never been to Scotland before, okay, you may be thinking, oh, it's just straight and forward. You put it in your TomTom, or forget TomTom now, it's sat-nav, isn't it? You put it in sat-nav, your phone, and that's it. You see, we find it easy to submit all our akal, all our intellect on the reliance of a phone. See how measly we are, how, if you think about it, we don't want to give ourselves to a teacher. This is a person, a human being, which Allah SWT bestowed knowledge and wisdom and the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ, the wisdom of the Mashayikh. There's a teacher. But we can submit to a mobile phone. Why? Because we don't know. The mobile phone will tell you, the sat-nav is going to tell you, take left, we'll take a left, take a right, we'll take a right. Without hesitation. Without hesitation, we'll do it because we don't know. We are completely dumb, deaf and blind to whatever the sat-nav will tell you. That's it, isn't it? There's nobody. Those of you who've experienced driving for the first time from all the way from south to all the way to north, you'll know exactly what I mean. You've never been to Bolton before. You don't know what the Zaweh is. You're just going to follow this. You're just going to follow it and say, it doesn't matter, I'm going to follow it. Sometimes when you're experienced, then you realize, wait a minute, this is telling me to go a longer route. I know a shorter route. Isn't it? Then you sort of become a little bit more independent. And you say, okay, then you say, I don't. But look how easily we can submit to a phone. Look how easily we can submit to a sat-nav. But when we say try and submit to a teacher, we find that difficult. Very difficult. But we find it very easy to submit to a man-made intellectual algorithm, and that's it. We know about algorithms, we won't go to that today. Okay, so there you go, we can submit to that. Strange, isn't it? But when we say try and submit to a teacher, very difficult. Bid'ah, shirk, what are you doing? And this is not bid'ah, and this is not shirk. Just understand the mindset. I know what I'm trying to say is that we're not here to beat about following a guide. We're saying understand the adab and etiquette that you do not know the spiritual world. There are people who know. If you do not know, you submit to their intellect, you submit to their teachings, you submit to their ways, and you submit and come under protection of Allah SWT through these people, that they will show you and guide you. And they will then open the doors for you if you submit. A simple formula, if you just follow that, it'll make your life and your spiritual journey very easy. So there are many dangerous places in this world where the tour guide can save them from dangerous people, dangerous places, creatures and so on. Likewise, the guide should know where to go, where not to go, the protocols and the evacuations and the route to actually evacuate yourself whenever you're stuck in a journey. So in spiritual journey, what we say is if you get stuck, what's the way in which you can always get back? What do we say? Brothers, what do we say normally? Brother Rafiel? Think of the teacher. Think of the guide. That is your safe route. That's your emergency exit button. Think of the teacher and that's it. You will then hopefully be guided back. So in this muraqaba, the key is the teacher. Accepting him. Now, I'm telling you this now, is that you really, whoever you are, you're 50-50, maybe a little bit, I don't know, I know what I'm doing. I'm saying completely 100% say that I don't know anything. Empty your heart and accept that my teacher, my spiritual guide, they know everything. They're the ones who are going to unlock me, and they're the ones who are going to open up my meeting with Sayyidina Imam Hussainiyah and the family of the Prophet ﷺ, any other family members that they wish for me to meet. They're the key. They will unlock. They will open up for me. That's it. You have your heart like that, you feel this ease, and that's it. Just rely on that, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, this will be very easy for you. So the key is the guide. In this world, only selected and authorized person can be given as a guide and tour this world, especially dangerous areas and so on. Similarly, the teacher has been selected to guide people to the presence of Imam Hussain. So you're going to go under the guidance and under, you could say, the shade or the umbrella or the light of Hazrat Sahib to meet this blessed personality, to meet Sayyidina Imam Hussain. It's this blessed light, the borrowed light you take him from. Through their light you'll actually meet, through their light you actually have access. Not through our light, we have nothing but darkness. Understand this? Maybe, alhamdulillah, you brothers will have some light, but I'm talking about myself here really, it's about darkness. And through their light is much more powerful, more vast. Through their light you'll actually be able to open and get you in the presence of Sayyidina Imam Hussain. One must accept the teacher as his guide in the spiritual world before one can commence this journey. So you need to accept this now. Those who are not familiar, in your heart, mind, just accept. And for this routine, this exercise, they are my guide. The guide is key in meeting Imam Hussain. If one does not accept the guide, he will not be able to travel in the blessed presence. I found it is dark. To know there was nothing there, there's no connection. I don't know, I was just seeing things. This is all reflection of something not going wrong with your mentality and mindset and your submission. Once you'll open your heart to the fact that I don't know anything, that I know, you may think you know. Like I said to you before, is that even in this world we don't know every single route. What to say about the spiritual world? It is important that the seeker keeps with the guide throughout the spiritual tour. This journey is different to what you normally do. So just everything will make sense when I tell you. The seeker shouldn't leave the guide or he will become lost and unable to find him or reach his objective, which is to meet Sayyidina Imam Hussain in the spiritual world and the family of the Blessed Prophet ﷺ. So the objective of this Muraqba, objective is this, what? To meet Sayyidina Imam Hussain in the spiritual world, to meet the family of Imam Hussain. This is so that one can return to this world to follow his true teaching, reflect their ways. That is fundamentally important. You know, many times you can go for a scenic route. For example, if you go to Scotland, you'll see a sign that says you can take this straight route, which is a normal motorway route, or you can take the scenic route all the way to Edinburgh and all these other places, beautiful sceneries. You can do that. It may be a little bit longer journey for the scenic route, but if you want to just get to your destination, get to your destination without sceneries. Sceneries will be sceneries, nice, it'll give you a little bit of pleasure, it'll be nice. What we want to do really is this, is to become the true reflection of their teachings. Is that by seeing that, we should grasp some lessons, some teachings from Nasiha, some things that they will tell us that will stay in our heart and our minds. By the way, if everyone's going to be asleep, please go upstairs now. If you're resting, go to sleep. You're not going to understand this, you should go to sleep. Whoever is tired and knocking out, please go upstairs and sleep. Anybody is tired, go upstairs and rest. Beshak, it'll be better for you to sleep because you're not going to understand anything that I'm saying here if you're half asleep. And then when we ask you, give you feedback, you don't know, you're here, there and everywhere. So you should be alert, you should be alert and awake and to be able to attentively listen, because we're going to do this in another 40 minutes or so. So please be awake. If not, go and rest upstairs or downstairs, wherever you are, go and rest and sleep, inshallah. So this is, so that what I was saying is that you need to now reflect that into your teaching, into your life. By listening to the Nasiha, by following the ways, you need to reflect that into your lives. That is what is going to really benefit you from those sceneries, from those things that you're experiencing. Although a scene will remain a scene, it will be like an image, just like you've seen a movie, just like you've seen a documentary, just like you've seen the pages of your life going in front of you. If you don't put that into lesson and practice, it will always just remain a memory and that's it, a vision and that's it, a kashf and that's it. To avoid, also there are many arguments that is going wrong. As you know, people doing itiraz about this and that, who was right, who was wrong, is this correct? If you can speak directly to Imam Hussain and all your arguments now finished. There's no need to get a scholarly call, okay, what was the situation? There you go, you can actually get this sorted. So all these disputes can all be settled, especially for our Shia brothers and sisters. They can, if they are able to meet, then they can know, they can ask direct, and it has happened. So mashallah, when we were in Iraq, we have actually made them meet and we have actually get them to actually discuss. So it's nothing. So if they're really truly sincere, whether you're Sunni or a Shia, it doesn't matter. If you're sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you follow this guidance what the Mashayikhs have given, especially our honorable teacher, what they said, if you accept that and you submit and you follow this, the doors will be open for you so that then you can get rectified. So it's not, and that's not just for this Muraqba, it's through the whole of Islam as well. If a person remains open-hearted and doesn't become constricted and stubborn and think, no, this is my way and that's it, this is the one way. No, if a person has an open heart and tries to understand and then realizes, that person can be guided anytime. Be it a non-Muslim, be it a sinner, be it a person who's a Salafi, Ahl-Hadith, whatever you want to call them. Anybody can be guided if they're open-hearted. So this is the methodology which I don't really want to go into for the sake of Brother Majid and maybe a few others who've never been through the methodology of Latifah cleansing. This is how we prepare, okay? There are things called spiritual centers, Latifs, that we're going to try and actually use the cleansing of these spiritual centers and bodies, which is then going to be used to help us to boost ourselves, to transfer our spirit to the spiritual world, okay? So these are like, you could say, power banks, or you could say generators or bodies which is going to be energized to help the spirit come out and hopefully then transfer us to the spiritual world. So first and foremost, this you'll be familiar with it another time, make a firm intention to the 5 amals and the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should be basically is that you should make a firm intention that whether I see anything or not, hear or not, that my course, my journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the tazkiyah course that I'm doing, I'm going to make sure that I have reviewed this and I will actually now get on track on this if I've not got on track. The practical sessions that see and taste, they're not theoretical sessions, as you already know. We're going to use the spiritual centers, the Latifs. The spiritual are not, the Latifs are not the purpose. So many people, they say, I have red, I have green, I have blue. They're all whizzing around and they're giving this energy and people are bouncing up and down, moving here and there. That's not the purpose. We're not here to bounce from left and right. We're not here to do this and that. No. We want to use the energies from those Latifs to actually help us to become steadfast in deen and to motivate us and to encourage us to do the da'wah. So this experience can be of 3 levels. Thought level, imagination level, which is in your control, and number 3, spiritual level, which is not in your control. So when we ask for feedback, when you say, I couldn't see the Latif, we find that very strange. I couldn't see anything. We find that very strange. Why? Every single person can have imagination, every single person can have thoughts. You can think about it, you can imagine it. Spiritual level is different. Experience and tasting, that is not in your control. So what happens is that you go through the rigors of thought, you go through the rigors of imagination, and then that develops into spirituality. So it means that either you didn't have enough exposure to look at the Latifs, different colors, and forgetting that. So therefore you're saying, when we say to you, it's amazing, you'll see, especially the teachers, they'll know what I'm saying. When you hear the students, what they say, when you ask right, can you imagine nails? And no, I can't imagine it. But after that, if you say, can you imagine nails? And yeah, I can, it's clear. Why is it that they can't imagine it when you tell them to imagine? So imagination is there. It's there. It's always. But sometimes we just put that added pressure for no reason because there's a perception in our head. I should be able to see this like this. I should be able to hear this like that. Like as you see in the TV screen, it should be like pure HD quality. Actually, this is 4K, by the way. 4K quality. It should be like this. Maybe at the beginning it's not, but it gets clearer because everything's run parallel with the course of tazkiyah. However much purification you've done, that will also be reflective of however much clarity and experience you'll have in the spiritual world. But also sometimes what can happen is called fadl. Fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, grace of Allah. That has no limits and that has no bounds. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to make you clear like 4K quality, that's it, it's Allah's fazl. It's Allah's fazl. There is no set criteria or condition we can put on. That's just the pure fadl of Allah. So now, just for the sake of this, I'm just going to go quickly, is that focus on the beginning and not at the end, okay? And focus on the now and have the end in mind. End of all end is what? The pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one should correct the intention and keep the three keys in mind. What is that? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me with all His sifat and qualities. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees me. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears me. This is to actually connect and bring in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After rectifying one's intention, the three keys. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me with all His sifat and qualities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears me. You should now, what we're going to happen is, as soon as we finish the presentation, you should all pray 2 rakats al-hajat. Okay, prayer of need. Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you to traverse to His close and nearness and to open the doors for you so you can have a meeting with Sayyidina Imam Hussainiyah. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. Always, because what that does, it humbles you. You show your weakness. You know what activities we've been doing throughout the week, throughout the day. Alhamdulillah, this is the blessed day of Jumu'ah. You've been doing good, Alhamdulillah. But what do we do the night before, the day before, the week before? We know what activities we're doing. We may be falling short. So by praying this supplication and by praying this dua as well as the prayer, it's showing your humbleness and neediness towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That I am in need indeed. I have a hajat and it's you, Ya Rabbal Alamin. I need your power and your help. This should be done before the class session starts, as we mentioned. Then we're going to recite the amal of protection, recite with the tongue and heart. Why is it? One time Surah Fatiha, one time Ayatul Kursi, and the three calls, Qul Huwallah, Qul Adru Falaq, Qul Adru Binas, in that order, 3 times, blow in the palm of your hands, and then what you're going to do, you can spread it all over your body, so that that's your protection, because you need protecting in the spiritual world. Okay? 3 states of heart and mind. What is it? The state of humbleness. Think, oh Allah, I am not able to worship you, love you, fear you, and remember as you deserve to be. Nor am I doing my best. Humbleness. Gratefulness that I do not deserve any blessings purely for the grace of Allah that I am being blessed. That I am sat here in your house where there's lockdown, there's other issues, other people not being able to come because of work, but by the grace and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am sat here with the presence of our beloved teacher. We're here. That is more than I can ever expect. And reliance that it is not my knowledge, not my wisdom, not my amal. It's purely by His fazl and grace that I will be traveling and that I will be seeing and experiences by His power, by His fazl and grace, not anything to do with me. He is the real doer, I am nothing. So humbleness, gratefulness, reliance. So then we recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Astaghfirullah 3 times, Durood Sharif 3 times, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 3 times, and then we start the Latifah cleansing. Okay, I'm going through this quickly, I do apologize, but this is not the purpose of what we're here for. You should be all familiar with this, most of you are. So there are 7 Latifahs, starting with the red, which is below the navel, orange, which is on the navel, the belly button, yellow, which is the stomach area, green in the chest area, light blue in your throat area, dark blue or indigo in your forehead, and then the crown of the Latifah, the crown of all of them is the white, which is just above your head, as you can see. So you got red. It's important to remember what the Latifahs are and the colors. The red below the navel, the orange your belly button area, the navel area, yellow just in your stomach region, the green chest area, the light blue throat area, dark blue your forehead, eyes, all this area here, and the white which is just above the head, the crown of all of them. So those are the 7 latifas, lataifs, and the positions. Because it's going to be guided, so you don't need to worry about this, but individually, most of you are familiar with it, we don't need to go in more detail. We don't need to see that as well. So what we do initially is we do a preparation, preparing to start the cleansing of Latifah. What we imagine is the name of Allah high above in the sky is white in color, and then white light just comes down from the name of Allah. As you breathe in through the nose, imagine the light is now filling your whole head, your whole body, and then as you breathe out through the mouth, what will happen? Here we go here. All your worries, all your concern, all darkness, all sins is now exiting from your mouth. So those of you who are thinking about jobs, problems, issues, release all those tensions, release all those worries through the mouth as you breathe out. Family problems, job problems, business problems, relationship problems, whatever it is, get them all out. Release all that tension, the negativities, the sins, release them all by breathing out. That's the initial thing. So as you breathe in, we're not going to do 10 minutes, we're going to do some breath, maybe a minute or two or so. And then you do this for initially for 2-3 minutes. Normally you do for 10 minutes or less. Depends on what you've been told. Then we start, you're going to be instructed to go to the red Latifah, and you imagine the name of Allah is going to be red in color, and then red light is now going to come down as you breathe in. The red light will enter through the nose, go all the way down to the red Latifah, which is below your navel, and as you breathe out, the light energizes, cleanses the Latifah and exit from the back. Okay, exit from the back. Similarly, we do this with the orange. Again, the name of Allah is beautifully lit up in the sky. Orange light comes down. As you breathe into the nose, the light enters through the nose, goes all the way down to the orange Latifah, which is on your navel. And as you breathe out, the light energizes, cleanses the Latifah and exits from the back. And that's how we carry on doing with the yellow, the green, light blue, dark blue, and the white, okay? Now what's happening is that's the first stage, the second stage of cleansing. Now we're in the stage of, now we're going to be what? Transferring. What you're going to now imagine the nail center is white in color. And this time when you breathe, the light will enter from the nail center, filling your head, and it's going to fill, the light fills up your whole of your body, energizes all the Latifah, and your body expands, get bigger and bigger and bigger, like a balloon. And as it's getting bigger, your body starts to disappear. Slowly, all your limbs start disappearing, whole body starts disappearing, and then eventually what happens? Your body disappears, okay? Then you're left with the Latifah, Lataif, and your breath. What's happening is that one by one, let's go back, one by one, the Latifah will start disappearing. The red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, light blue, dark blue, and white, they'll disappear. Now you've got the breath left and the spirit. And this is what we call the golden breath. This time, this is where it's different. Normally what we'll say, this is the only, if you've not understood or not paid attention, now this is the bit you need to pay attention. Is that normally what we say is you imagine your spiritual body. You imagine your own spiritual body. And then you're going to breathe into your spiritual body. Here, the difference in this Muraqba is you imagine the spiritual body of the Shaykh, of the spiritual guide, the teacher. Imagine Hazrat. And what you're going to do is that you're going to breathe your spirit into their body. In other words, is that you're going to use them as a means to travel towards. It's not the case. This is probably more powerful, but what you're going to be doing is that you're going to breathe your spirit into the spiritual body of the teacher, and then from that you'll transfer. Is that clear? So normally we'll say, now try to prepare and make your spiritual body. No, here, now you visualize the spiritual body of one's spiritual guide, and then you breathe your spirit into that, into the spiritual guide, and then you transfer. Take a golden breath and transfer. So with the power of your imagination, create a spiritual body of your teacher, breathe, take the final, keep breathing, and then transfer the golden breath in the spiritual body of the teacher. Then you should mentally be prepared for one of those breaths and then transfer. As you transfer, find the teacher. So find the teacher, find them, and then what you're going to do is once you found them, what you do, you should imagine that you are with your guide who is taking you through the skies. Now this is the bit you just need to pay attention again. For some of you it'll be fast, for some of you slow. It'll be like as if you're going backwards in the time of Imam Hussainiyah. Then eventually it's like as if you've gone all the way back to the night of 9th of Muharram, like 10th of Muharram, like this, in that very night. like tonight. One should imagine one is with Sayyidina Hussain on the last night before their passing. In this night, they know that tomorrow is going to be the battle. They know tomorrow is going to be where I will get martyred shaheed. How did they spend that night? What was the emotion? What were they going through? What were they doing? You hear the winds. Imagine the wind. You see, everything recognize the friends of Allah, the will of Allah. What to say about the Prince of Paradise? Sayyidina Imam Hussain, Sayyida Shabab Ahlul Jannah. These are the princes of paradise. Do you not think the wind will recognize, the moon will recognize, the dust will recognize, every single thing will recognize who this is? You hear the winds cry as if they knew this will be the last night that they will be able to touch the blessed soft skin and brush through the face and the beard. They're crying, the winds are crying. As if this is their farewell and saying goodbye to Sayyidina Hussain. How will the wind wish it could pick up Sayyidina Hussain and take them far away from a distant land to a safe place? It can be done if Allah SWT gave the permission. Allah SWT could, do you not think the wind of winds and all these other creation would have asked? Of course they would ask. Ya Rabbal Alamin, let me just take Imam Hussain to a safe place. Let me just destroy that army. Look, a hurricane can come and destroy buildings and demolish anything and everything which is in front of it. And a hurricane couldn't come and destroy that, of course. But it wasn't to be. But how much did the longing did the wind have that it wished it could take Imam Hussain to the distant land? The moon is watching attentively. The blessed moon of this night, knowing it will be the last time it will witness the blessed sight of Sayyidina Hussain physically in the face of this earth. This will be the last night it will see. The clouds shed tears as they sprinkles tears of love, wishing it could create a lightning shield around Sayyidina Hussain and protect them, the whole family. You must set the scene. So basically the scene is put in place so that your emotions, you can connect with the emotion and wanting to see Sayyidina Hussain. So initially going to the scene of the environment in which they're in, the clouds, the moon, the dust, the wind, the land, how they felt, then you'll get into the motion of wanting to see Sayyidina Hussain. Now imagine you can see a light illuminate in front of you. You can hear a cry, weeping, not for survival, not so that they can live, but mercy to Allah for the people who would be the one who would martyr them tomorrow. This light is light of Sayyidina Hussain, that he's crying and weeping because he knows what the evil that the people will do to them, that their consequences. And he's weeping for them, not for himself. You can hear the cry, you can hear their prayers and supplication towards Allah Azza wa Jal. Tears are flowing from the blessed face. You are joining in their prayer. You raise your hands and begging Allah to help them in the battlefield. Now you come to the day. So you come from the night, at this night, you have come to the scene of the day, the scene, the battle of Karbala. Now imagine you're in the field of Karbala. You witness the army of Yazid surrounding Sayyidina Hussain and their family. Will you help them? How will you help them? Will you put yourself forward and sacrifice yourself for Sayyidina Hussain? Will you do that? It's easy for us to now, for example, we can sit in a movie and we're seeing the Karbala and we say, if I was there, I would do this, I would do that. Would you really do it? Would you really be able to sacrifice? Would you really be able to give your life? So what will you do? Will you put yourself forward and sacrifice yourself, Sayyidina Hussain? How will you help them? Will you block them, or will you fight them, or would you run away? What would you do? People will see their own state of where they are or where they will be if they were to defend Imam Hussain. This will show them some indication of if they truly love and follow Sayyidina Hussain. So from the scene of the battlefield, so from the night scene, how they spent the night, you're going to now come to the day scene, to what the battle of Karbala was like. Then you bring yourself forward to the mazar of Sayyidina Hussain. You come to the mazar of Sayyidina Imam Hussain, and now you imagine you come forward with the blessed grave of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anh, with the blessed teacher in front of you. Imagine your teacher is holding your hand and taking you inside. So while happening from the mazar, from the grave of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anh, a light will appear, and now what's happening? You now enter through the blessed hands of your teacher, spiritual guide. You will enter the mazar and enter that light. Imagine you're inside a courtyard. As you go to the light, you're inside a white courtyard, and you can see a bright light walking towards you. You should imagine and feel it is Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anh. As they walk towards you, their presence become more apparent. Now what's happening is that, so you're going from the night scene to the day scene, Battle of Karbala. You now come forward, you're in front of the mazar of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anh with the teacher, and then a light appears from the grave. You enter the light, and now you're seeing this, the courtyard. And what's happening is that you now feel the presence, their light, their fragrance, their aroma. Okay, you're feeling the presence, you're feeling the aroma, the light. You should start to see them firstly from the blessed feet, so from the feet onwards. What is that indication towards? Why is it that we're not saying, not looking at the face? It's humbleness in front of these personalities. So the first thing you look is towards the feet, blessed feet. It's showing my eyes are lowered in humbleness towards these great personalities. This shows how you should always be with these mashayikhs. Eyes lowered in front of these blessed personalities. Just as you showed respect towards your mother and fathers, you keep your head down for respect and honor. Similarly with these blessed personalities, what you're doing is that you look at the blessed feet and the blessed legs and then the chest, and imagine what they're wearing. Then one should focus on the blessed beard and the blessed lips and the nose and the face Mubarak, and they should consider the blessed amama and the chadar which they are wearing. Why we go into details? That the more detail you go into, the clearer your vision will become of them. And all of these things have significance. Focus on the blessed personality and presence. And once you've actually been able to tolerate the fact that you're able to see the blessed feet, the figure, the body, what they're wearing, some people will still be too scared and shy to look at the blessed face of Sayyidina Muhammad due to adab respect. That's normal, that's fine. But then you can give your salam, they may give salam back. Sometimes they may not give salam back. They may give you nasiha, they may not give you nasiha. They may embrace you or they may walk away. Allah nakare, but all of these things are a nasiha, are a guidance for me and you to take, whatever they do, whatever they say. All are signs for the seeker of truth. They will show you towards the path, towards your betterment. Something there, if they're not pleased with something, they'll tell you, do this, sort this into your life, get this into your life, you're missing this. You want to save me, you're saying you're going to protect me in the battle of Karbala. Protect your iman then, protect the deen, protect the message. There's Yazid with all of us, and there's a Hussainiyah in of us as well. At the end of the meeting, one should give the salam and take permission and leave. Back to your consciousness and body. And that is the end of the Muraqba. Has anybody... Yeah, yes, inshallah. Yeah. But you should always relate though. You should, if you, whatever you see and you experience, always relate, inshallah. So likelihood, most likelihood that you've met and yes, the say has been given, inshallah. Any other question anybody has? Yes, brother.
One day I was doing that, and when I translate all my sins to the teacher, I saw 400.
Oh, this is not the time to relate your vision, inshallah, but inshallah, later on, inshallah, relate, inshallah. It's a question regarding the methodology. Inshallah, because we'll listen, after Fajr, when we have feedback. Yeah. So inshallah, you relate it, okay? Yeah, after Fajr, when we have feedback, or after this practical, okay, we're going to have feedback after the practical. So you can relate the practical session we're going to do now, and also say I have another thing to relate if I have permission, and then you can relate it then, okay? Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So inshallah, you relate your feedback and your experience then inshallah. Any other question regarding the methodology? Yes, Brother Rafil.
So if we do see someone, how do we know that it is that?
Your job is to relate. You don't need to worry about who this is, what is. Your job, basic principle, again, I repeat again and again. Role of the students of the seeker is that what they do is to perform and to do and then to relate. Not come to the conclusion. What's happening these days is that you take on the role of, well, you know, in the English term, it's a judge, jury, and executor. Yeah. So what you're doing is that I am the student, but I'm also now the teacher. I'm also like the giving interpreter. I'm doing all of that now. So what I'm saying, yes, as I'm saying, yes, this is who it is. Oh, this might not be right, or this is correct, or this is not correct. So much tension you put in yourself for no reason, and that's why maybe your experience is being influenced as well. I mean that relieve yourself of that duty of what am I seeing, not seeing. Just relate what you're seeing. Relate it, and let the other person decipher what it is and what's not. All you got to do is whatever you're seeing and whatever you're hearing, relate. Let the other person, the teacher, let the teacher decipher what it is and what it is not. Is that clear? So when you say, am I seeing, not seeing, just relate. Okay, is that clear? It is critical that you understand this. It's everybody, I keep on emphasizing this. First thing I emphasized was the teacher. Now the duty of the students is what? Just to relate. Whatever they see and whatever they hear, whatever they experience. The difficulties, and sometimes I don't know why people don't do this as well. You find it difficult. Tell us what it is. Not sitting inside. What's happening is that I didn't see anything, other people are seeing. Another person is giving a big narration of a kashf. They had a big scene. My kashf is only little. And the other person, let alone little, he's not seen anything. But the thing is that in everything, whatever you are, whoever you are, there's a solution. If you have a problem, there's an issue there, you can relate it, ask. So then we can come to a solution. Okay, maybe you're not doing the exercise properly. For example, if we told you to write ABC, 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 and you're writing DEE, DEF, DEF, then there's a problem. We're saying is that, look, it says ABC, why are you writing DEF for? So then you go, oh, okay, then we'll show you here. There's A, write A. There's B, there's B, there's C, there's C. You write like this. So when there's a problem you have, there's an issue that you have, relate it so that then we can actually come and give you a solution for it. Why suffer in silence? Number two, when you do relate, whatever you're experiencing, relate as it is. Don't decipher for yourself. Oh, it was this, or it was that, or it was this, it was that. Unless you have, even then, you know, especially this is for teachers as well, and as well as practitioners. Why do you think one of the criteria is, even when if a person's spiritual guide then passes away, physical spiritual guides passes away, yes, they may be of the level of that they can still guide you, but one of the shart and condition of spirituality, of the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to have a living guide. Why do you think that is? It's so that that living guide can decipher for you what is happening, what is not happening. You come under their protection, they can actually decipher. Just like a doctor cannot actually prescribe and do diagnosis on themselves, they go to another doctor. It's making sure that my nafs, until I die, my nafs can trick me in any way, in whatever way. We always use somebody else to decipher for me and you. You understand? So hence why I always have we will relate. This is it, this is it, this is it, that's it. That's what even to this day we relate. So you should be relating, not thinking I will choose this bit and not choose that bit. You're deciphering now for yourself. Unless you've been given guidance otherwise, just your simple job as a student is to relate, and inshallah that's it. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about, oh, this was big, this was small, this is now, or that person. When they hear, a lot of times the people hear, the students, they hear somebody's vision is great vision, wow, and they think, if the people hear mine, they think, what is this? I better just shut up and be quiet. This is nothing. But everybody's at different level. Don't judge. Don't judge yourself upon a vision of somebody else. You see, what do we say criteria of the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You're not actually judged upon the kash of the visions. You're judged upon the practice of the Quran and the Sunnah, the Sharia. How much of that you're implementing or not? How much on the path you're actually implementing or not? That is what you judge at. That's something that you yourself can see and others can see the reflection of that. Not on kash. So let that never deter you from relating ever, especially when you're in the presence of the beloved teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Abba, in the presence, relate. Don't ask. So really today what I want to see is, when Brother Gufan will be here, the microphone saying, is there any brother that relate? All of your hands should get up, and I'll be here. Your hands better go up. Every single one of your hands better go up. Say, yes, I have something to relate. Be it darkness and dullness, whatever, or be it a message, or be it every single one of your hands should get up. Is that correct? I'm going to see that, aren't I? Otherwise, tomorrow there's going to be some saza and some pushman. We'll get to. I don't know what I can get, which is lawfully binding, but there's going to be. But I want to see everybody's hands up, because what's that saying is that we value you. Let me just tell you, not forget about thinking. What I'm trying to say, when you're in the presence of Hazrat, when you're in presence, is that when we say, brothers, please put your hand up and relate your experience. In other words, what you're saying is that we value your feedback, we value what you're going to say to us, or our teacher. Here's me, I am ready to be actually now assessed. That is what you're doing. You're giving your sabak. It's like, for example, when I am taking just a bit of your free time here, when you give your sabak of the Quran or the Qaeda, you go to stars, okay. And then what happens is that we say, now give your sabak, nobody wants to give, so are they going to progress? So give your sabak. Give your vision. Give your experience. Give your difficulties, your problems. Give it. They're here for that, so that you can advance and you can go further, gain more clarity, gain more proximity, gain more strength. But you're not going to get that again if you don't say it, because they're here now for me and you. So really, whatever wisdom, pearls of wisdom they're going to give you, even if they say do this and do that, for you that is everything. So just take it and just actually absorb yourself in the guidance that they give. So what you all going to do when they say feedback? What you all going to do today? No, I can't hear anybody. What you're all going to do? No, so you're physically demonstrating, but I want you to say what you're going to do. Put your hand up and you're going to relate everything, every single. And I'll be, Haji Kufa will be saying, but imagine I'm looking at every single one of you. You're all going to put your hand up. You're all going to relate. Is that correct? No, I'm not here. Is that correct? Yes. Everybody's going to put their hand up. Abdullah, you're going to put your. Every single person's going to put that. And if you don't, watch what happens tomorrow. Okay. Watch what happens. Although we'll be fasting, but watch what happens tomorrow. Okay. So everybody put your hand up and you relate, because give value to the teacher. Do qadr of the fact the teacher is here. And show them that you value their presence and give your sabak. Otherwise, it's so shameful that they get up and they go. You already know everything. Relate, okay? Even if you do, just relate. Jazakallah. You got about 6 minutes or so. So if you want to do quick wudu, if you want to do that, just refresh yourself in doing that, or. For those who've not done it, do your 2 rakasat haja, and then inshallah aziz, reconvene at 12 o'clock. Shall we say 12 o'clock? Yes? Reconvene at 12 o'clock, inshallah, get yourself ready, and we should go through the practical, inshallah. Jazakallah, jazak.
कोई तो है जो निज़ाम हस्ती चला रहा है, वो ही खुदा है। दिखाई भी जो न दे, नजर भी जो